Richard Serrage.
Sitting in for George Norrie, as this is Nat King Cole, kind of the swinging side of Nat King Cole. Indigo. Located deep within the mountains of Colombia, a cemetery experiences a unique phenomenon. Every year, when its vaults are opened, the mummified bodies of the deceased are discovered. However, the strange thing is, no one can explain why they become mummified. To this day, the mystery continues. The small town of San Bernardo, located high up in the Andes Mountains, is a cemetery that sees a lot of turnarounds in its occupants. That's because officials have to remove the bodies previously interred within its vaults to make way for new ones. When these bodies come out of the vaults, for most, their hair, eyes, and clothes are still intact, the result of the bodies mysteriously mummifying. The cemetery had first opened in 1960, quickly receiving its first tenants, and by 1963 the first mummy was discovered.
Hey there.
As the years carried on, more and more bodies were found to be mummified, and by the 1980s about 50 mummies were being identified each year. You can read more about this creepy story in the news section at coasttocoastam.com. And if you love Coast, you're going to absolutely love Beyond Belief. Tom Denheiser is here with more. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Richard, and yes, you will love it.
Going to mistake them for being.
How does it?
A single 1 week survival
The book is Awakening the Truth.
for kids and free foods to revive.
The book is Awakening.com.
To claim your
President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and the new book is Awakening the Truth Frequency into the Unified Field. So if we can raise our frequency
To join the $500,000.me.
Now's the time to stock up. Kids at freefoods3.com. That's right. When you buy a single 1 week survival food kit, you'll get 2 more absolutely free. No coupon codes. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Just go to freefoods3.com to claim your
President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and the new book is Awakening the Truth Frequency into the Unified Field. So if we can raise our frequency, which is encoded in our DNA, what happens then? Does the Nazi
Okay,
Great
you all
Alliance, their whole over
Nothing
us,
like
which has been
transporting
going
a
on
batch
for
of
nearly 100 years, it just goes away. They just decide to leave us alone. How does it end ultimately?
I don't think they want us to go that easily. I mean, it is something that needs to start. Their alliance.
Hello, this is 911. What emergency service do you require? Thank you. Police officers are en route to your current location.
When we stop allowing that to take place and they're being exposed, it's going to be a lot easier for us to not have their control over us. But if we don't know who they are or what they're hiding behind, then we're just going to mistake them for being the outer authority that we answer to when they're answering to them. So there's hybrid and this and altered people have altered that are part of the trauma-based mind control that are in these powerful positions. We have to understand all different levels and layers of this.
So, but ultimately, they're not going to go without a fight, right? They're not going to go without a fight.
I don't think they're going to go without a fight, but it really depends, I think, on where we place ourselves. I think it's important that, we're prepared as best as we can be and really start to build community and come together more. A lot of people are already doing that. Shows and stories of having these greater conversations and just, okay, now how can we walk together? That's what this is all about, right? Putting out the information and then we find each other, and synchronicity helps us to find each other, and we're playing some numbers. I mean, it was really, really difficult for this stuff to be exposed in the 50s and 60s and 70s, 80s, just like the time before, even though there are practices and there are organized practices before in many different ways, very, very difficult to express this sort of information. But the numbers are on our side. There's so many of us. And even some of the whistleblowers back who talked about Eisenhower science, I asked about that to Dan, and he said they didn't have access to these levels. They exposed a lot of really important stuff. They didn't have access to the information about what happened in 1952. But everything else was. So,
What about the The treaty that needs to be, the treaty that is renewed every 10 years, the Rehab Treaty, which permits, allows braves to abduct beings, is happening. Well, is that stuff happening?
I think to much lesser of a degree. And I mean, it's so interesting that they didn't expect to awaken, and have to awaken, to what has happened. They've got the memory factor. There's all that mind wave stuff going on. And also the military abductions that aren't really just extraterrestrial beings. Those military officers are being called out. So how much is it until military operations? Like where is this evolved to? There's so many different elements to all of this going on. So it's a one food every 10 years. So 1964, 1974, has it been every year since? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Everything is fluctuating to such a degree. Because when the Guardians...
Hello, this is 911. What emergency service do you require?
Became more
Thank you.
Starting in 1975.
Police officers are en route to your current location.
Outer barrier was created. So I think it made it very, very difficult. Almost like an immune system being increased for this to continue. Because without this happening, and we must have invoked it if this is a time of awakening and a shift time into higher earth energies, that it wasn't just attempting it, it was sort of like destined. The things that are destined on the ground require us to define it, the ones that react to it. In order to
have positive experiences, they describe it as positive contact. Not they would call it abductions, but they may be taken aboard. Are they dealing with the Guardians? What do you think is happening with the more benevolent encounters with ET people are having in the morning?
So there are a lot of people that are represented, the Guardian group, and I group is probably a lot more, but you know, the Guardian Alliance, the Guardian, and other Reiki and beings, Arcturians, Zombians, you know, people that have contact tend to have a relationship, like their family, right, or their representative. And so at first, you know, the breaking amnesia, there might be, you know, contact experience that you talk about and share, or you feel an upgrade, right? I mean, we hold all these strands in our DNA that connect to, you know, these keys in the multidimensional consciousness that has been dormant and called just DNA. So we all hold a relationship with galactic beings and higher beings. So yeah, I feel those are, you know, Guardians, Arcturians, Zombians, and all the more benevolent beings that are here help us put these dormant aspects on. So they're not going to stay, but they're going to have to be very careful of the ones that are the ones that lead the benevolent, that are a part of the darker alliance, that people might mistake for benevolent and close themselves and, you know, with holographic technology, and they're actually just not what they appear to be. We have to be very careful of.
I want to get to some calls here. All right, I want to get to some calls here. Let's begin with Jeannie in Austin, Texas. Jeannie, good morning. Welcome to Coast. You're on the line with Laura Eisenhower. Go ahead.
Hi, Laura. And Richard. And George. Richard, every time you're on, I've written his thing. Yeah. Anyway, Laura, thank you, friends, for coming on. And I was going to listen tonight. I don't even have to say, like, I'm in a great mood. I'm going to music festival. I've also musician for many, many years. I'm very well. Everything has been in the music industry for very long. You have to really be in it because you love it and you want to, you know, but you need to connect with people. And I try to. I'm not famous today, but I'm good. But when I start listening to you, I'm sick to my stomach because I consider myself okay. I consider myself a higher vibration. Everything you've been talking about. But it's really hard to understand. I'm going to read the book. I'm going to, you know, always decide on my own what. So, like, I have a show coming up that festival myself, May 31st, and like, if I was found out in the and come, oh, by the way, guys, did where we were. They're not, I mean, I'm going to do more research, and I also want to, I'm going to put my comments on what, you know, why are the analysis coming out? And I noticed that there's always been counting, I get it, some of the people that have been telling the truth about my judgment is mirrored. Yes, they have been killed or make it seem like truth, you know. And I get back to this perspective actually for people aren't going to want to hear this, but with America in general, and I was born here, but I would feel reluctant to that on where I want to move out of the country. And do you think, I mean, did Ireland, did other countries make deals with the Great Russia? I know,
That's a good question. Are there other countries, who's, I guess, how to decide who's on which side? Who's under the yoke of the Nazi alliance? That's a good question. Laura?
Yeah, I mean, Project Paperclip wasn't just this country. I mean, it's spread its tentacles all over the world. I mean, we gotta listen to the people that are exposing this stuff. I mean, I do my best. I mean, this is not easy for me to follow, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this isn't just the unconditional surrender agreement. This is Project Paperclip. This is the admiral invasion of Antarctica that didn't become successful. I mean, there's too much police story to this that, oh my gosh, it finally makes sense. So it's spread all over. But I mean, you know, I believe this limited. I do solicitors, right? So I have clients, and I consult that we're reading, and this is where I learn the most. You know, people that are putting themselves out there necessarily, but I learned, you know, those that have put themselves out there. Kathy O'Brien is really close to me. With what she has to share. You know, Fiona Barnett that was exposed but has to, you know, take place in Australia. And, you know, it's all the clients that I have that have these experiences and these memories from these families that know I can talk to Laura because she talked about this stuff. Like, there's nobody else I can find that I can talk to, but then I'm like, you haven't heard this person yet or that person? And then, you know, I help spread the word and give referrals. But a lot more people are coming out. Laura Worley, you know, so many people, Tony Rodriguez, SSP folks, and that's what Eisenhower was able to do is expose all the photos and really, really key photos and videos of the SSP and make sure that those would resurface so that we would get our hands on this information.
When you get the SSP, here's the SSP.
Secret Space Program. So,
oh, Secret Space Program. Okay, sorry. All right, listen, I got to get you some more calls, but Gina, thank you for that. Let's say hi next to Greg is in New York. Greg wasn't close.
Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. This has been really interesting for me because when I was a teenager, I asked my father, point blank, are aliens real? And he said definitely. Was like, you know, totally real. And he goes, I go, no way. And he goes, yes, I worked in the Eisenhower White House. Well, I don't think he said Eisenhower White House, but the White House in the 50s, okay? So I'm so happy to hear that this probably is real. And also, I want to learn more. So where can I find out more about all of this?
Awaken the true frequency into the unified field. How do we get a copy?
Real talk.
okay, so it's on Amazon right now, and CCCpublishing.com. The book is currently out of stock, but in about a week or two, maybe a little bit more, you'll have more in stock. I'll have some up on my website. I can send signed copies, but I'm not ready to do that just yet.
That's an attract.
Okay, let's, all right, Greg, thank you for the call. I'm going to see if I can squeeze in at least one more. Tyler, first-time caller in California. Tyler, good morning. Welcome to Coast. You're on the line with Laura Eisenhower.
Yeah, hey, you know, I think, like, from hearing you have a lot of information, that's for sure. And it's a little overwhelming for kind of remedial people like me. And what I really like and enjoy is, I think you speak a lot of truth, but I also like to have truth. And I found, I was, you know, Google Maps may or may not have had a lot of smoke around there or something, and I was just kind of looking at Antarctica, and I found this, I took a screenshot of it with the coordinates. And like, there's like these weird caves and like this, like little entrances in it. And I was wondering the place in Antarctica you're talking about. I could give you it's 73 degrees, 53 feet, 38.4 inches.
Well, Yeah, there's a lot of strange anomalies that seem to be poking through the ice in the Arctic, and they've been captured on Google Earth. Mary Joyce published them in a book called I Spy. Brad Olson is doing a lot of great work in that regard as well. You mentioned CCC Publishing, who published your book, Laura. You know, it's such a huge topic, and people are trying to, you know, connect the dots and where to begin. You know, that's always a big question, right? Where to begin? How do you play catch up? As people are calling in and saying, "Wow, my head is spinning here. What is it the Nazis won the war? What do you mean we're under the yoke of the extraterrestrials?" Aside from your book, Awakening the Truth Frequency, End of the Unified Field, where do you suggest people begin their journey?
Yeah, well, Breakfast book, John F. Prepared is a really good guidebook. Aaron Seuss just came out with a book about awakening to the universe. I should get the title correct, but anyway, Lisa Renee's website, EnergizedSynthesis.com, will give you just so much of the galactic history, so much of what's going on, star technology, all the stuff about disclosure that I talk about. It's amazing. It's all there. And, you know, we don't want to get too overwhelmed. We don't want to, get all, the most important thing is we understand the war that's on us, and that we override it, we overcome it, and that's the most important thing. We don't allow the divide and conquer to win. We come together with mutual love and respect. I mean, all those sort of things are the most important things. It is overwhelming. Yeah, I might have a lot of information, but I mean, I'm just like everybody. I'm just navigating this as a human every day. I'm just like, whoa. But look at the...
Do you have any contact?
Sorry.
Do you have any contact with your great-grandfather at this point, I don't know, remotely, telepathically with President Eisenhower?
Yes, a lot of communications come in, and when the timing is right, I get the communications. I mean, he did say this in my book that the Guardian told him that for as much as she had heartfelt understanding of his sister, the light lights would enter his future family, and that she did arrive in today's so continues to fight on his behalf. He knows by all who are waiting. So I surrendered as a kid. What is the truth? And he guided me with my spirit guide. So there's a lot of connection there, and I sometimes have a really hard time connecting myself. I say that I get kind of emotional, or I'm not even sure. I struggle a lot with just, is that really real? It's wild that people have come to me. They say I'm a walk-in. I'm here. I was sent to help me. And then those communications come through from him and Val. And Val just met me before and me. And I was told that, you know, we were together and helped during the administration to help Eisenhower's administration, and that's why I came in. So the Guardian had something to do with me coming to the family and the whole migration of us coming in, and that's...
Right, when I'm running for president, I'm going to stop Joe Biden and shiftless spending.
You know, we're just divorcing an old paradigm that's Christian, and there's also so much more beautiful awaiting. And then we're in relationship with them, we don't have to be anymore.
Awakening the Truth Frequency into the Unified Field. Laura, that was a wild ride. Thank you so much. Great to speak with you again, and do it again.
Oh, you're just such an amazing interviewer. I really appreciate it. I feel honored, and I can articulate it better, but thank you so much for having me.
You did just fine. You did just fine, Laura. Thank you so much. All right. When we come back, we're going to open up the lines. Open lines for 2 hours, taking us into the break. ELO. When the night comes on Coast to Coast AM.
70 square feet. Crazy. If you drive 904-813-4967. The WOKZ First Alert Forecast. Stones and Stones east of the Rockies. Call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free. Call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serrage.
Sitting in for George Norrie, The Stones and Silver Train from their 1973 album Goat's Head Soup, which I think is overlooked and neglected. A terrific album. New gems. All right, coming up next, we turn our gaze towards the spectral and the supernatural, seeking those who have brushed shoulders with the uncanny. 2 hours dedicated to your stories. Stories that hover on the edge of our reality, where shadows speak and the familiar becomes profoundly strange. Have you felt the chill of the unseen or glimpsed what ought not to be? Have you heard the whispers of the past calling through the veil of time, or faced beings from realms unfathomed? Perhaps we could open a special line for chilling tales of Ouija boards, those thin wooden doors swinging wide to realms best left unexplored. Have you called forth spirits that linger too long, whispering through the planchette with intentions dark and dire? Gather your courage and recount these sessions of shadows. Coming up next, I seek the company of souls break
Remember
through
that commercial?
Yes, people. All right, let us embark. 2 hours of open lines, and we're going to begin on the island of Hawaii, Honolulu. In fact, Casey, welcome to the coast. Good morning.
Hey, Richard. I have really enjoyed listening to your shows over the last few years. Hey, but I wanted to just ask you, like an old friend, if you remember the old Nike commercial that used to come out about probably 1980. 87, or when the Beatles would play on there. It was for the Air Max, and it had the, you're talking about a revolution.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that commercial?
I do, yes. Was that for Nike? I'd forgotten.
Wasn't that a really fantastic thing? And anyway, I wanted to bring that up, and the reason that I've called in here tonight is because I believe that there's a medical truth to the Bible, that there's a medical part of the faith, and that, good health is really important, and that if we start to understand a whole plethora of realities, it comes down to a familiar relationship between heaven and earth, and that the Bible and everything is really a medical thing. And so I really appreciate all the work you do, because you remind me of like a really good family doctor.
Oh, wow. I'm blushing. I'm blushing behind the microphone. Okay, so thank you for that. Well, you mentioned, medical faith. We use a lot of oregano in this house. We grow it in the backyard. We take oil of oregano when we get sick. We're Greek. It's a Greek household. I'm not Greek. My wife is Greek, so it's in all our cooking. It smells like oregano here all the time. Oregano is in the Bible. It was called hyssop. That's oregano. So there you go. And it's very good for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Richard. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Let's say hi next to David is in Florence, Arizona. Oh, I know Florence. That's where the wonderful Orthodox monastery is. Hey, David, welcome.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, America. I'm 81 years old. For the past 65 years, I have had an experience that, had I not experienced it firsthand, I would not have believed it. I have talked on Coast to Coast over 20 times since the early 1990s, trying to get my message out that America is being shut down. It is being unbalanced so as to take it out, to shut it down, take it out. To destroy a civilization, a community, a family, corporations, a religion, anything like that, all you have to do is unbalance it. My experience the last 65 years since age 14 is that the federal agencies are working to shut down all of the production. They don't. If you want a country to, if you want to change the name of a country, you shut it down and it gets a new name called impoverished. This country should be doing 4 times as good as it is now. the Forest Service and the Interior Department, with help from the Justice Department, they have wiped out many, many ranchers, miners, logging. Rural America has been under attack for over 70 years. A country cannot sustain its economic viability if it's being shut down and taken out. My name is David Rawls, 81. I have devoted my life to trying to expose what's going on.
What do you think is at the root of this?
I have children, I have no wife.
David, what do you think is behind all this? So, for example, there are those who believe that Agenda, well, they used to call it Agenda 21, now they call it Agenda 30, is trying to drive people off of the land, herd everyone out of the country into cities where they can be controlled and surveilled. There have been a number of Post has done a number of shows on this, many books written about it, Behind the Green Mask. Is one, do you think that it's United Nations Agenda 2030? They're trying to drive people off the land. They're trying to make it difficult. So, for example, they stopped delivering mail in certain rural communities. They raised property taxes so people can't afford to live on the land. They stopped providing services, schools, and the rest. What do you think?
What you're saying is all too correct. America was founded on faith. People had faith in the future. They had faith in what they could accomplish. The power system now wants to demoralize us. They want us to live in fear. They want to control our brain patterns. After World War II, somebody brought a lot of those Nazi scientists over to Huntsville, Alabama to continue those experiments. I don't know a whole lot about that, but I met a young lady that grew up right in that area. She told me some stuff. At the time, I didn't believe it, but based on what they've done to our Rams family and many other people, it's all too likely that the bad guys have got the upper hand now.
David, that's
Eisenhower said, he was Eisenhower was one of our very best presidents. We thought we were Democrats, but Eisenhower was a Republican. He was one of the best presidents we had. So when Eisenhower talked a few minutes ago, I was all ears because as weird and as far out and as impossible as what she said sounds, it is probably all too true.
I got it wrong, but thank you for that. And yeah, I think you summed it up nicely. As far-fetched as it all sounds, it does kind of bring truth. I look at the state of our country up here in Canada, beautiful Canada, and we are blessed with so many resources. And yet, we're at the bottom of the heap in terms of the 50 sort of top industrial nations in terms of our GDP. It's like 0.04% over the last 5 years. It's just stagnant. How can that be, given all of the resources that we have? An educated population, a skilled population, oil and gas. And then I try to think, well, how could they, if they were trying to destroy the country, the people that rule over us, if they were deliberately trying to destroy it, what would they do differently than what they're actually doing now? And I can't think of a thing. All right, let's see. Let's say hi to Robert in New York on the wild card line. Robert, welcome to Coast. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Had the pleasure of having the islands up in St. Lawrence and the Canadian side years ago. Spent many wonderful times there. So Wellesley Island area, we're too fertile. And Wellesley.
No, I don't know. Where's that? St. Lawrence.
And the opposite of St. Lawrence River, the Canadian side. Yes, and Robert James from New York, and the previous caller, Mr. Ross, has really got his thumb on the pulse of what's really going on. Eisenhower's two latest, well, I would call them two questors, and I've been around with questors for many, many years. Even since as a teenager, had the pleasure of meeting a number of people that have personal experience with what the subject matter is here. But, for example, I've interviewed over the years people who were fleeing during World War II at the end. My understanding is that Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, I used to have a little nightclub because I was a little kid, and I just connected the dots between Ike and Mike. I thought, well, he looked like my great grandfather, and so I thought, well, he's got to be a nice guy. And I started working until I started looking further, deeper into research into what would be called the hidden history, and I still have respect for it, but I also am going to Western Church. A man who was 100 years old, just passed recently. He was also one of the right hands of Eisenhower in the World War II head of artillery in parts of Europe there. And another man who was 99 when he passed, he was right beside Eisenhower. And they brought up some issues that I was stunned about when they talked to him. Some of the things they told me privately, I can't really speak of or reveal. Keep the confidence, but in any case, there was something called the Katyn Forest Massacre in Poland. And for all these years, talk about cover and we're getting not the true history. I am an objective history researcher, and I don't take sides on either side. I just want the facts. It's like Joe Friday from the Dragon, just the facts, man. And furthermore, and again, the facts, I don't need opinions. I have the facts.
Okay, just spill it though. What does he want to lay on?
Let's say the truth. Lawrence Myers died at 100 years old. And actually came back to Syracuse University and started the first TV and radio department there. He just recently died. And so he was telling things that I just gasped with. I'm sure that Laura Eisenhower would like to know, but I understand that there were 400,000 anti-Soviet Russians that were being forced after World War II, and forced back in the hands of Stalin, who were then eliminated and liquidated. But they were actually being rescued by the German army in the retreat. And one Polish person who I knew was only 14 years old got shot by the Russians, and he was retreating with the German army. And there was 3 German soldiers that saw him fall and turned around and faced oncoming, fiercely oncoming bullets flaming, and they picked him up and carried him with them all the way back to Germany. He was a Polish boy at that age, and then grew up eventually to become involved in aerospace and science and so forth in our space and satellite programs. So in any case, here is an American. And so, but there was something called the Katyn Forest Massacre that the media and the government had covered up for many, many years and claimed it was the German army that actually
So you're saying 400,000 Russians who wanted to leave the Soviet Union?
Yeah, they were anti-Stalin. They were anti-communist. And then they were shoved back across the line into the hands of
Okay, and what is that called, that massacre again? What is the massacre called again?
I'm sorry.
What is it called? What was the massacre called again?
The Kachin Forest Massacre.
It's in force. Okay, well, I'm going to look into that. I wasn't aware of it, but Robert, thank you for bringing it to my attention, to all of my attention. 400 families. How does something like that get buried? That's worth exploring further, for sure. Thank you for that. Let's see. Chris is in Detroit, Motor City. Chris, first time caller, welcome aboard. Right, close to Cody. So, good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Thank you. Are we talking about ghosts? Because that is a part.
It's open lines. You can talk a little bit about your life within reason.
Well, for those of you that may have or may not have ever encountered ghosts, I live in a haunted house. It was built in 1910. I didn't know it was haunted when I bought it. I soon found out after I started working on it, strange things started happening. I was seeing a step taking a handrail off the wall. And as I pulled this 2-inch brass screw out of the plaster, I put it up on a flat beam ball. It flew down and hit me in the center of my lap. And mind you, my lap was 18 inches or so from the wall. With gravity, were just falling straight to the joint.
Right.
I didn't think much of that, so I took out the next one and did the same thing, and it landed exactly in the same spot on my lap. And then the third one that I pulled out landed on a point on the floor, kind of, standing up by itself. And then I said, okay, this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing. I started explaining, talking to the ghost. Another incident, I was working in the garage, same time period, just bought the house, same in the garage, the only one that lives here. The woman that lived here in the 70s committed suicide. She hurt herself in the car in the yard while her family was in the kitchen. So there were 2 5-gallon gas cans alongside the wall as I exited out the garage. And working in the garage for several hours, I went to come back in the house and I couldn't get through the door. I was pushing. I got enough, the door open enough so that I could see, try to peek to see what's holding the door shut. And the 2 5-gallon gas cans moved themselves from the wall and they were and were blocking the door from me coming back in the house.
Are you still in the house, Chris? You're still there?
I'm standing in the great room right now.
It sounds like a 1910, one of those grand homes, those big grand homes.
It is. Everyone calls it a castle. It looks like a castle. But regardless, my son, when he was about 2.5, 3 years old, got up one morning early, 6 a.m.-ish. The sun was just coming up. No lights were out in the house, but he went down to the Thomas training set.
Chris, hang on, I got you up in here. Chris, I gotta hold on. I want you to hold on during the break because I want to hear more of this grand mansion in Detroit. We'll take a time out. Van Morrison, I'm moving on to this into the break right here on Coast to Coast AM. Kidding me? No, it's true. The strange Wilson tourists.
It's toll free. Call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with your guest host, Richard Serra.
Sitting in for George Norrie. Say hello on X at Richard Serra. This is Fanny, one of the first all-girls rock bands to achieve commercial success in the early to mid-70s. Ain't that peculiar? A Japanese town, tired of troublesome tourists, is building a giant screen that will obscure the community's main attraction, Mount Fuji. Are you kidding me? No, it's true. The strange project reportedly got underway late last month in the town of Fujiwagachiko, which sits at the base of the iconic volcano. By virtue of its breathtaking view of the landmark, the community has become an enormously popular tourist destination in Japan. However, a surge in visitors in recent years has led to all manner of annoyances for residents and forced town officials to take the drastic step of erecting a massive mesh net to thwart picture-taking tourists on board. Anyway, you can check out the video of them erecting the giant screen to obscure the view of Mount Fuji. Good luck with that. Anyway, it's in the carousel up at Coast to Coast. AM.com. There's so many ways to listen to Coast AM. You can listen on your terrestrial radio. You can become an insider and listen online. Here's another way.
With your old camcorder tapes, film.
Inside his grand home.
I'm getting incredible.
Detroit, who was regained. All right, can't wait to get back to Chris in Detroit. All right, can't wait to get back to Chris in Detroit, who was regaling us on the paranormal happenings inside his grand home. 1910 it was built in the Motor City. So, Chris, you were mentioning he had a three-year-old son at the time.
Yeah.
Who went downstairs.
Leo, yes, he got up and I followed him down, and he was playing with his Thomas train set. It was sun was coming up, no lights on, no TV on, nothing. It was just he and I was watching him play. He was on one side of the room, and between me and the other side of the room, sitting in a chair, recliner. And I saw him do a double take. He looked to the other side of the room, then he did his double take, and then he took, 3 or 4 steps towards the other side of the room, like walking past me. And as I'm watching him, I'm like, where's he going? And then he quickly ran back to me, but he didn't jump on my lap. He buried his head between the chair and the wall. I said, what is it, sweetheart? And he put his wrist up to his ears like children do sometimes, with his elbows in the air, and he took one finger and he said, Dad, a ghost. And I said, where? And he pointed like right next to it. He said, right there. And I couldn't see it.
There should be
I said, okay, it's time to go upstairs. We went upstairs. Then he saw the ghost again. I was probably 7 years old, and he was very verbal, or he explained the story exactly, like where he was, what he was doing, and where he saw it. And I asked him how high it was, and was it a man or a woman? He said I couldn't tell. And then a couple days later, I overheard him telling his mother the same story. I saw a ghost, and it was right here, and I was standing right here, and so forth. We're not the only ones to see or experience the ghost. A friend came over several months ago, maybe 6 months ago, doesn't matter. And we walked in the foyer, all lights were off. And he went out to the kitchen, and 30, 40 feet away. And as I was coming in the foyer, there was I don't know, it looked like a disco ball or something between myself and the foyer, the doors where you put, the coat closet.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
I mean, like floating, just like an orb, like a glimmering orb.
It was like a shimmering light that looked like, I don't know, it looked like, it was just like a ball of light that was reflecting off the wall and the area around me, between myself and the wall, or the closet door. And I looked into the kitchen. I said, "Are you doing this?" And they said, "Doing what?" And I looked again, and then it disappeared. As fast as it came, it left. And then not so many months ago, I was sleeping, and I was going to say 1,000 ghost stories. That's an exaggeration. I maybe only have several hundred. And then the door opens up. That happens all the time, and that's probably easily explained. But I was lying in bed one night, and on my side, and as I'm picture this, I'm lying on my right side. I open my eyes, and next to me, I have like a salt lamp in my room.
Yeah.
You know what they are.
Yes. Yeah, I got one right here. I have one right here.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the only light on in the room. But as I opened my eyes, I saw this thing, maybe 2 feet from my bed, and it was maybe 3 or 4 feet tall, maybe more like 3 feet, but it didn't touch the floor. It was kind of hovering above the floor, maybe a foot or 18 inches. And then it was maybe 6 inches wide. And it was cylindrical, in shape. But it wasn't anything you could really identify. It was, I don't know if you've ever been snorkeling or scuba diving, but in water, there's something called a thermocline, and that's when the cold water meets the warm water, and it's a shimmer. You can't really see. If you're 20 feet below the surface and you come to a thermocline and the water's 50 feet deep, there's a thermocline and it's all shimmering. You really can't see below the thermocline. And so
Okay, so that's what it looked like. It looked like a...
yeah, but the air was
Interesting.
disturbed, like shimmery and blurry, and in the cylindrical shape. Now,
Chris, I gotta ask you something here because, and then I gotta move on to some other callers. These are great stories, but have you attempted to capture an EVP, electric voice phenomenon, with a tape recorder, a recording device?
I'm funny you should say that because I did record. A friend of mine owns a recording studio, and I borrowed the gap machine. I set up microphones, and I know the death date and birthday of the woman that killed herself in the house. And around that time, my dog, he sat down, but it'll get super weird, like 3 or 4 days before the anniversary of her death. And into that, like, my little dog, little blind, maybe the other dog, probably experienced that.
Did you record anything, Chris?
I set him up, but he never listened to him. Oh, I've never
All right, well, get on that. Chris, that's your project. That's your homework. Go through the tapes. If you find anything, email. I want to hear it. We'll play it up, folks. Chris, great calls. Enjoy the house. Wow. I have friends who deliberately bought the house for Christmas. He had a traveling circus sideshow. And that makes perfect sense. Why would want haunted house and he collected haunted items? No thanks. No thanks. Let's see. Mark is on a wild card line. Right here in my backyard in Carolina. Welcome, folks. Got you, Mark. Is Mark there? Hey, Mark. Welcome, folks.
Hi. Wow, this amazing, pardon me, man, it's just multitasking here. But, I wanted to say that, the last guest, your,
Eisenhower.
yeah, amazing because, it's about community. We've got to get back to helping one another. This is a silent war. They try, in Ontario, after when they launched the pandemic, that they tried to take away our rights to fly, right? And we fought for it, and we got it back, right? My effort, and we've got to find innovative, we've got to break through the new paradigm, right? And one of the things that I do, I try to tell a series of jokes for like a dozen times a day to total strangers. You're stopping at a stoplight, when you cross the street. You turn and they say, hey, you don't know okay, is that a real day? And they look at you physically. And, well, they were naming the country. They said, you know how we like to say, hey, eh? Well, they said, what do we call this country, eh? Well, it's letters out of a hat, eh? Great idea, eh? First one says I have a C, next one says I have an N. No, true story, eh? That gives you the break in, you can go into, I really love this one, it's a series of jokes. In 2021, I have friends that are extremely wealthy, and they're sitting at every year they have a birthday party for me, right? So this year, it was like no friends, just them at the far end of the table, me with the birthday hat on, and us having the blast, right? So, Laura told me this joke, and I've been telling it ever since the animal of last year was the raccoon. You know why? Because it always wears its face mask. It distinctly washes its hands. And the same thing to spell raccoon to spell your well-done.
There you go, Mark. Thank you for that. All right, enough dump. Shane been a haircut 2 bits. Eric is in Las Vegas. Eric, welcome to host. Good morning.
Richard, love your show when you're hosting over here and your own private podcast you have. And John D. Ross, another great guy. And well, that's my question. You know, I really want to ban TikTok, but I just heard this week a video which I have to actually give credit to TikTok, and maybe you can get this guy as a guest on your show. But he was using names like Joel Tippin, Tippin. He was using fentanyl. I guess he was, some of the story that he was at Indiana Anderson, Texas, stage 4. I think he was given months to die, months to live. A great guy. He's trying to use fentanyl, which is a common dog dewormer. And I didn't hear about this till this week. And of course, he's still alive. He doesn't get medical advice. He just shares the story. And the doctors are all afraid to mention that. And because of his story he shared, there's, I don't know, there's must be thousands of people that are stage 4 that are taking this dog dewormer. And doctors apparently are afraid to just publicly go on record and acknowledge it. Not everyone, but in a lot of cases. And we're sure you can get that gentleman on one of your shows. That would be great.
What do you call this story? Warmer again? Hang on. Sorry, not Mark. Eric, what do you call this drug again? Fentanyl?
Yeah, Fenbendazole, fenbendazole. And it's dog dewormer. It's on Amazon for any stores until they only buy it from a pet store. But I didn't hear about this for a week. The story's 4 years old. And I have a lot of family and friends who've had some cancer, and it would have been great. Just, there's nothing to lose to stage 4. And so I heard that from TikTok, so I don't know much about it.
Well, I'll look into it. I can't, I wouldn't advise anyone to do, that. But obviously, we got to issue the old medical caveat, consult your doctor, and of course your doctor is going to say don't take a dog dewormer. However, people want to look it up and do their own research. That's up to them. Eric, thank you. I'll check it out. Joe Tippin, taking a dog dewormer to fight stage 4 cancer. So much cancer around. Oh, I just found out a friend of mine who just had esophageal cancer. Now his brother has brain cancer. Brother's 50 years old. Yeah, just everywhere you turn, someone has cancer. Let's see. Let's say hi to Sue in Chico, California. I've been to Chico, California, Sue.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome to Coast. I've been to Chico.
I got a Ouija board story for you. I shouldn't have been playing it at all, but I did. And what really made me feel guilty was right after that friend of mine whose house I was at for Mr. Stone destroyed the Ouija board, which I asked him to do in the or to the home, and I felt really guilty about that maybe I'd been responsible indirectly for that, and I wasn't, but I felt that way at the time.
Right. What happened during the Ouija board session? What happened?
I don't know. It just was so strange. This was weird, and I don't really remember that much about it, but it was just really strange and weird. It scared me, and I thought, oh, he put the board in the burn barrel and destroyed it. And then right after that, he was gone, and I felt like I had something to do with it. Maybe I didn't, but at the time, I felt really bad about it. Just before the time.
Sure. It's natural that you maybe connection that wasn't necessarily there. And, right, I'm sure you had nothing to do it. Right. But you don't remember any of the particulars where you're getting answers, strange answers? This the planchette stuff?
Yes. It was just one of those weird things, and I never said he destroyed the board. I asked him to do it, and he did.
How did you do it?
Burn the barrel and lit it.
Oh, burn barrel. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. Well, that's what I hear. That's the way to do it. All right. Well, thank you for that, Sue. Chico, California. I was working at the CBC at the time. That's our national broadcaster up here in Canada. I was doing a radio documentary series called Out of Business about adventures. And there was a gentleman in Chico, California. I think I found this story online in a local paper or something, and he had invented a street in the idea was that you would bury someone, they'd be standing up, and you would put them in this coffin that would literally screw into the ground. It's what I remember of that story. I don't think he did very well. I don't think anybody paused. That was his idea. He was out of his mind. And that's my experience with Chico, California. All right. You've got a line, hold on to it. John in Alabama, Clyde, New Mexico, Bill in Florida, Howard in Vancouver, Washington. Try to get to all of you. All right. Taking us into the break, Paul McCartney, Calico Skies. I danced to this song. It's the first song I danced at my wedding with my lovely bride and my anxiety. Calico Skies. Right here on Coast to Coast, AM. Sweetie. You're so beautiful. Always looking for ways to love you. And finding that you're smart. I'm here just to love, take the stay from here. Sweet, sweet money. Oh, all the songs you like. Oh, all the rest of my life. So good.
KBFM Atlantic Beach, broadcasting from the Town Love Management Studio. Listen everywhere on the 104.5 WOKBF.
Chad, wouldn't you agree that every
Feel it. What's in your fur? Are those? Oh, please. Spring is here, and so are fleas. Even though your pets need protection, Chewy Pharmacy helps you stay ready for flea and tick attacks. Shop now at chewy.com. Networks make it possible to share data from lots of places, like the Brick Sanctuary. Good hours. There is a typo. Thanks. But to make them powerful enough to deliver new opportunities at the edge, you need CDW and Aruba. CDW experts can help design and implement an Aruba Edge Services platform which unifies, secures, and automates network environments everywhere, so you can translate data into innovation. Sorry, do you mind? This is confidential. Aruba makes visibility at the edge possible. CDW makes it powerful. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
when we partner with Wow Business, I really experienced the Wow difference.
Our dependable local company
US-based technical is knowledgeable,
and friendly. Wow Business offers dependable products.
high-speed connectivity, and honest price. No hidden fees or extra charges.
Providing a true partnership with our customers
It's what makes us different.
I
I have the longest.
Visit wowbusiness.com today to partner with your Wow Business team, offering affordable and reliable options to help improve your bottom line. Wow Business is now offering their fastest speed at a new low price. Get 1 gig of business internet for just $94.99 a month, backed by a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, plus free install and free modem for 6 months. Visit wowbusiness.com today. That's WOWbusiness.com.
Offer for new customers subject to change price with the taxes, fees, and charges, restrictions apply.
Discover the Wow difference and partner with us today.
This is the story of the week. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and this facility shines. With range of supplies and solutions for every change he faces, his 24/7 customer support, his family never misses a beat. Call the Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have family dinner plans that don't involve cooking?